Good morning and greeting once again from Bill Backen, Farmer Bill, the Funds Art, Mays Valley Farm Market and Winery, and I'm walking out to one of our bigger sweet corn plantings right here. This field's about 25 acres, and that's small for big guy standards, but a pretty good chunk when you start getting into it, because this is grown in our black muck ground, and it really does well. I posted an earlier blog posting about sweet corn tassels and pollination and silks and things like that. A funny thing happens this time of year, though. This is our war with the blackbirds. We're looking at July 31st, and this time period, about the last week in July through about the first week in August, is a life cycle portion for the blackbird. And there's about 3 different species of blackbird in the blackbird flock, and you can see them flitting around the tops of the cornfield here. What blackbirds do is they like to eat corn. Now this year, with it being so excessively wet right now, we're probably not seeing as much pressure, but there'll still be plenty. When it gets dry, they get just vicious. But this time of year, they'll be on top. And what they do is they fly in there and they go down. And as the corn matures and the tip of the corn gets close to the end of the husk, near where the silk has emerged, they'll peck down in there and generally go in there and peck a half dozen kernels or so, trying to extract the juice from the corn plant, the corn ear. And what it does is basically makes the ear useless to us, because most people do not want to purchase an ear, and you have to do things like sell it as bird peck corn or husk it and cut the tips off and wrap it. But again, it just builds labor into a situation where it makes it worthless. One year, an enormous flock came into this field and in one evening did about $10,000 worth of damage. We try and patrol it with bird cannons and things like that to keep with sound machines to keep them out, and other methods, but it gets challenging because they just get to the point where you'll shoot at them, or you have the cannon go off and they'll fly a few yards and sit down again, and it just takes you all day going through here trying to keep them out. But they're disgusting animals, and it would be great to be rid of them. As you can see, I'm right up on top of this one here, and it really doesn't care that I'm here. They just really don't mind. But let's get back to the corn. You can kind of see the corn silking here. This stuff is way ready to go. This corn, as you can see, is growing in our muck soils, our black ground, just like that first field is. We're real fortunate to have that. Oh, and here's what bird peck corn looks like. And here's what this one did to it. It pecked more than just a few kernels. It went right down the side and annihilated this one. And that took a perfectly good ear of corn and made it worthless to us. And they will do that potentially to every ear across this field if you get a large enough flock come into the field. You try and combat it with selecting the right variety, coming ripe at the right time of the year, that has a heavy husk tip, or they have to really work to get down in there, and it minimizes the damage, or they won't even go after it. These are what are called bicolored super sweets. That means bicolor, yellow and white corn. As you can see, that one that's all destroyed. But this one is really nice, ready to go. They should be in here picking this stuff. Super sweets are different than the original video I showed you. They've been hybrid corn. They're not genetically modified or anything like that. It's just a hybrid. Just like sweet corn, it was an accident. Corn started 10,000 years ago about in Central America when somebody stumbled across this seed pod growing on the top of a plant. And the corn, the pod used to grow up here, and you'll still see a genetic mutation for that every so often. But like the fruiting body, what you're going after was up here where the tassel was. And as they selectively bred them over the years, just basically by picking the best one that tasted the best or milled the best or whatever the characteristic they were going after, we moved the ear down to the side, and we also have generally 2 ears per plant. And that was just over the course of centuries and centuries of humans taking this plant and molding it into what they wanted to. To today, what we have is sweet corn. Sweet corn was an accident just as much. Sweet corn, we only had corn before, and after a while we started picking some varieties, or we noticed this one tasted better than that one. So we bred it. We bred it more, and we bred it with this other one. And sooner or later, we've developed these corns that are called bicolored super sweets, and that's what we grow. And they have a sweet characteristic coming from each gene parent. And that makes them a very crisp, textured kernel, and they can get a lot bigger and fuller than is traditionally thought possible, and still be tender and sweet. They don't, and they will hold too. I mean, a lot of this bicolored super sweet corn nowadays, I would rather eat it a day or two out of our cooler than fresh picked, because it just the sweetness tends to enhance after it's been picked and has time to almost cure like. And but that's a little bit about the corn that we grow here at Mays Valley in a field out here, fighting blackbirds, getting emerged. They'll have a challenge getting this all picked and getting it sold. There'll probably be some that goes to waste out in this field. Well, that's our corn update. at Mays. Get it, Mays Valley Farm Market and Winery. Farmer Bill, the Funzar, saying thank you for stopping by.